tonight. A flight fiasco for families aboard a Flair Airlines route from Toronto to Saskatoon has left passengers furious. Also, the Riders' defense is focused on getting the ball back for their new starting quarterback as they head to BC this weekend. Plus, a new mural unveiled in Regina is showcasing a hope for more inclusivity, accessibility, and good public transit in the Queen City.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Thursday, July 20th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. A pilot project aimed at reducing drug overdoses in Saskatchewan's two biggest cities is being extended for 6 more months. Last December, Regina and Saskatoon introduced overdose outreach teams. They're made up of a mental health and addictions counselor and a paramedic from the fire department. The team aims to support people who are recently overdosed by connecting them with a variety of supports. Officials say referrals are important, especially given this year's high number of fatal overdoses.
We've had several success stories that we're aware of that we followed up with people. And I mean, anytime, those are prevented deaths, right? Or potential deaths. And so we know that, the program itself has actually saved some people's lives. And the more people we can get referred to that program that are suffering from addiction and have had overdoses, the better it's just going to be for the community and obviously for that individual.
Last year, there were more than 1,200 overdoses in the city. This month alone, Regina police say there have been at least 12 suspected deaths due to overdoses. Members of the Shoal Lake Cree Nation gathered to remember a 5-year-old boy today whose body was found by searchers 1 year ago. Frank Young went missing last April, and after an extensive search, his body was found by searchers last July. Today, people gathered at the riverbank spot where Frank was found. That was followed by a service at the local cemetery. Shoal Lake's chief says it's a hard time for everyone.
The whole community is still dealing with, the loss of little Frank, and just basically trying to support the family, to ease the pain of losing a loved one.
Head says the family is grateful to the hundreds of people who helped with the search, logistics, food preparation, and other tasks last year. Shoal Lake is located approximately 300 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. Well, it is summer vacation season, but for some air travelers, a recent experience with Flair Airlines was anything but. The passengers were headed to Saskatoon from Toronto when a series of unpleasant surprises left people angry and exhausted. Pratush Dayal has the details.
Dramatic is how Carmen Zabo describes her recent trip with Flair Airlines. She was in Toronto visiting her sister. On July 17th, she was supposed to fly to Saskatoon. Soon after the takeoff, she says passengers were told there was no food or water available.
The flight attendants they got cups and they would just go to the bathroom and then they would come out and they were handing individual cups out.
Instead of landing, the plane circled above Saskatoon before being diverted to Winnipeg.
Then they said, the runway's wet, we can't land. Then they said, no, the runway is actually under construction, we can't land. Then they said, well, one runway is too short, so our plane is too big, so we can't land.
After that, the passengers were informed they'd be flying back to Toronto after stopping in Winnipeg. Sabo says that's when people became enraged and started yelling. That's when RCMP were called. Passengers were also told their luggage will be sent to Toronto if they got off the plane.
So 3/4 of the plane got off, and they said, forget it, we don't care, get us off this flight. And then 1/4 of us stayed because we wanted our luggage.
Zabo says she was given $10 in food vouchers and no money for a hotel. Her flight finally landed on Wednesday, July 19th. A ripple effect also resulted in 33 hours of delay for people waiting in Saskatoon to fly to Toronto. Adam Cyrul was one of them. He says Flair gave him a bag of crackers as compensation.
It was just horrible customer service. I understand planes need to turn around for reasons and not every plane is on time, but the way that the passengers were treated in this instance was pretty appalling.
The Saskatoon airport confirms one runway was under construction and the other was too wet and too short for Flair to land.
When we do anticipate wet conditions on the shorter runway, that we're doing extra reporting of that condition and that allows the airlines to make appropriate decisions on the landing distance that is available to them.
Flair Airlines says landing the plane in Saskatoon would have been unsafe due to the weather. Still, experts say the airline owes its passengers delayed on both sides of journey compensations.
For the Toronto to Saskatoon travelers, they would be entitled to compensation of $500 per traveler.
It's just a stunning level of incompetence by Flair. I really have difficulty believing that there was anything wrong with the Saskatoon airport runway.
I will certainly never fly with Flair.
For Zabo, the very idea of flying now deems daunting. Pratyush Dayal, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Port workers in British Columbia are back on the job today, and it appears they will be staying there, at least for the time being. The last couple of days have seen picket lines go up and come back down in a matter of hours. Strike notices have been issued, then withdrawn, and the state of contract negotiation remains a bit of a mystery right now. Georgie Smythe has the latest.
Port workers are back on the job here in Vancouver and in ports around BC after a roller coaster 24 hours in their ongoing labour dispute. Remember, this all started on July 1st when 7,400 workers from the International Longshore and Warehouse Union walked off the job over issues including port automation, outside contracting and pressures from the increasing cost of living. That work stoppage lasted for 13 days. It appeared as though a deal had been reached between the union and the BC Maritime Employers Association on the 13th. That was until union members unexpectedly returned to the picket lines on Tuesday afternoon. The union said it had rejected the tentative deal put forward by the federal mediator because it didn't address their demands. However, come Wednesday morning, that short overnight work stoppage was ruled illegal because the union hadn't given a 72-hour strike notice, and the members were ordered back to work. Later that day, the union issued a new strike notice for this weekend, but late yesterday withdrew it without any explanation. Both sides are describing the current situation as very fluid, and some are seeing the cancelled work stoppage as at least a positive sign.
I'm relieved to see that the union is back at work. I will continue to monitor the development and encourage the parties to settle this once and for all, and we'll offer our assistance in any way, shape, or form. The best way to resolve this is through an agreement by the parties.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau convened a crisis cabinet committee in response to yesterday's developments.
To talk about the impacts on the family and on the economy, and to look at the possible paths forward that we're looking at. We always know that the best deals are always found through negotiations at the bargaining table, and that's what we're focused on. But we also know that this strike could not continue.
As for where things stand today, both sides are unwilling to comment other than to say it's unpredictable and fluid. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are looking to bounce back from a tough loss in Week 6, but they'll have to do so walking into BC Lions territory against a first-place team. The Riders nearly earned a comeback win against Calgary last Saturday, but lost 33-31 as time ran out. The team's goal is to get back to winning. Several riders and coaches say the game will be won or lost at the line of scrimmage between the offensive and defensive lines. But BC also has a high-powered offense with an elite passing game. D-lineman Pete Robertson says accepting the offense will move the chains will be key to winning the game.
It's going to be plays giving up, but guys got to learn we got to move on. We can't derail on that one last play. So mentally, you got to prepare yourself for the next one. And, you know what I'm saying, try, if you won the one that, had the MA or whoever had made it, just try your best, you know what I'm saying, get on the next play and try to, get the ball back for the offense. That's our biggest thing.
Other big news out of Riderville today, the team has announced the 2023 Plaza of Honor class. The 2013 Grey Cup winning team and builder Wendy Kelly will be inducted later this year. They will be honored during a special halftime ceremony during the October 7th home game against the visiting Hamilton Tiger Cats. The first 5,000 fans through the doors that game will receive a free replica 2013 Grey Cup championship ring. From one kind of football to another, the FIFA Women's World Cup is underway, and Canada's team is about to play its first game. Lindsay Duncombe is in Melbourne, Australia.
There is certainly a piece of Canada in Melbourne, Australia, in advance of the big match between Canada and Nigeria. This is Canada House, a place for Canadians who live in Melbourne, a place for friends and family of Canada's team, and for people who have traveled to come and celebrate the team. I just spoke to a woman who came all the way from St. Catharines, Ontario, just to watch these matches, and the players are ready to take to the pitch.
I think for me it's just been like honoring those small moments and just the process of getting here. It's been such a journey, such a climb, and you finally feel like you're almost there, right? And there's still a lot to achieve, so yeah, I'm just day by day and honoring all those special little moments in between.
The big challenge for Canada will be containing superstar striker Asisat Oshuwala. She plays with Barcelona FC, and the challenge for Canada will be keeping her away from the net. But this is a team that's used to challenges on the pitch and off the pitch. That pay dispute with Canada Soccer is still ongoing. We asked Captain Christine Sinclair about it at a press conference here in Melbourne.
It's done. We're just not focused on it anymore. It's, about to get done. So honestly, we haven't thought about it for one second these past couple of weeks, just focusing on playing.
The big question now is, what will all of that adversity mean for the team once they finally start playing? Will it mean that they'll unify, come together, and start racking up the victories? Well, that's certainly what fans here are hoping. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Melbourne.
A live look now at the lovely view of the South Saskatchewan River in Saskatoon. Some rain on and off today in the Bridge City. We're on the front end of that warm-up that Ethan was telling us about yesterday, and he'll join us right after the break from this beautiful spot with his full forecast. Stay with us. The 2023 North American Indigenous Games run until Sunday in Nova Scotia, but sports and competition are only half the story. As the Games continue in Halifax, organizers are making sure Indigenous cultures are represented too. Brooklyn Curry reports.
Outside this tent at the Cultural Village, Mi'kmaq elder Ernest Johnson is preparing strips of wood. Inside the tent, his life partner transforms them into beautiful handcrafted flowers. It's one of several cultural demonstrations set up during the North American Indigenous Games. A few tables away, Mi'kmaq artist Ashley Sunnypass is weaving baskets.
I like to call basket making community art because there's people that go out and prepare the wood. Then there's people that go out and pick the sweetgrass, and then there's others that have all of that in front of them and they weave it together.
Different demonstrations are happening every day at the Cultural Village, from basket weaving to beadwork to hide tanning. NAG organizers worked hard to ensure this year's games were an even split of sports and culture. With more than 750 nations from across Turtle Island, it's an opportunity not only to gather and compete, but to learn from each other.
I had groups of children that were out in front of my desk asking all the questions, touching the wood, and that's probably my favorite age group to teach is the children.
We're going to give them the information. We're going to give them the tools, at least to have a shot at the next life, so that our grandchildren and our children yet to be born will have a shot at enjoying all of life's gifts.
That's Cree elder Gary Joseph. He's telling stories through leatherwork. Part of his display includes this belt he created for his wife, who's on a journey of recovery following her second cancer diagnosis.
So this design does signify the 7 districts among the Wabanaki territory of the Mi'kmaqs, of which they are part of. There is a circle, and a circle is like a medicine symbol. So when we gather in circles, we share medicine with each other.
Also in a circle, Joseph leads a smudging ceremony. As the smell of burning sage and cedar fill the air, more visitors to the Cultural Village file into the tent to check out the demonstrations. Brooklyn Curry, CBC News, Halifax, Jabuktuk.
This weather update is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And I'm all by myself in studio tonight because our weather specialist Ethan Williams joins me now from a beautiful spot in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous night up here, Sam. The sun has just come out. A few mosquitoes, but you know, we're not complaining about that. We even have some boaters joining us out on the river tonight. It's a beautiful, peaceful night for them to be out. A few hours ago, though, it certainly was not. We had some showers moving through the area. In fact, let's take a look at our satellite and radar right now, and you can see that we do still have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for the La Ronge and Prince Albert National Park area. There are some cells that are moving through there right now, and as we head a little bit further south, we can see that line of storms and showers that was moving through central Saskatchewan a bit earlier today. That is moving on eastward. No severe thunderstorm warnings for that line of storms, and even in southern Saskatchewan, still seeing a few of those pop up here and there. As we head into tomorrow, we see that thunderstorm risk is going to be shifting eastward through south and central, including Regina and much of the north. This is only a minor risk, a level 1 out of 4, so we're not expecting anything serious. But again, today was a minor risk, and we did see a few severe thunderstorm watches and warnings pop up. Pretty uniform temperatures through the province today, in the mid-20s, but with a little bit of humidity, that's making it feel closer to 30 degrees. Still sitting in kind of those mid-20s as we enter the evening hour right now. And the north of the province, in addition to that severe thunderstorm watch, we do have an air quality advisory for all of the north. And in fact, in the Buffalo Narrows area tomorrow, that air quality health index will be still at a level 8 out of 10. So still quite high, and that really is the case through pretty much all of the north. Heading through the night, we'll see those showers and storms begin to diminish. High pressure in place overnight. That diminishes tomorrow, allowing daytime heating to create those thunderstorms once again. And then as we head into Saturday, we are looking for things to be clearing out a little bit. And with that high pressure moving in, we're not really expecting all that much in terms of wind gusts. Things will be fairly calm over these next couple of days here, but that doesn't mean that we aren't going to be seeing some smoke. And of course, we have the air quality advisories in place in the north, and that smoke just going to continue to migrate southward. Tomorrow, Saskatoon and portions of the northern grain belt, likely going to see that move in. And then those thicker plumes moving south into the Churchill region as we head into Saturday morning. A look at your 7-day forecast for Regina, and things are heating up pretty quickly here again, feeling like 30 tomorrow, and then we will be hitting the 30-degree mark likely Saturday through Tuesday. Overnight lows not getting much below 20 degrees. In fact, they will probably be around 20 or so. Winds going to also be picking up as well, including in Saskatoon at the beginning of next week, where we're going to be seeing those hot temperatures too, and those warm overnight lows. And then things starting to back off a little bit, Sam. So this whole system not sticking around for too long, and more nice days for boating will be ahead.
Halloween is a few months away, but if you need a unique costume, the government of Alberta has something you can sink your teeth into. This donair was originally intended for use in TV commercials. How it became part of the Alberta government surplus is not explained. Bidding started at $50, and it's now climbed to more than $7,000 last time we checked. We'll be back after the break. A review into the transfer of one of Canada's most notorious killers was released today. The report by the Correctional Services concludes the rules were followed when Paul Bernardo was moved to a medium security prison. But it also says notification could have been handled better when it came to telling the families of Bernardo's victims. Ashley Burke reports.
The head of the Correctional Service of Canada says a review has now found the decision to transfer Paul Bernardo from a maximum to medium security prison was sound.
It is important to stress that at any point, an inmate can be returned to a higher security level if deemed necessary.
Commissioner Ann Kelly came under fire after Bernardo was quietly moved at the end of May from a maximum security facility in Ontario to a medium security prison in Quebec. The families of victims Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey were shocked they were only told about it the morning of the transfer.
I regret any pain and concern this transfer has caused.
A review committee found there was nothing stopping Kelly's department from giving more advanced warning to the families and using greater care, sensitivity, and compassion, especially since the families had recently been given another report about Bernardo that didn't mention the transfer.
The victims felt particularly aggrieved that, well, we just got a report about what's going on and you left out this one rather key fact that you're well underway to do a transfer.
This former Public Safety Director General reviewed the report and said in a rare move, the Privacy Commissioner allowed new details about Bernardo's file to be released, including why he qualified for the transfer.
The big difference was when he finally demonstrated he could live on a range with other inmates, not get into trouble, not be the object of trouble, they felt that then the factors aligned for medium.
Kelly said since Bernardo is listed as a dangerous offender, he's not able to be transferred to a minimum security prison.
Despite the fact that he is at a medium security institution, does not negate the fact that he is a psychopath and that he committed horrific and unspeakable crimes.
Kelly has agreed to move forward with the review's recommendation that she launch a working committee to improve practices when it comes to engaging with victims and also sending out notifications for the transfer of high-profile offenders like this. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Looking at mostly clear skies tonight in Regina after midnight. Those showers and storms going to be moving out. Winds barely noticeable out of the north. Temperatures not really changing all that much by the time we get to 8 a.m. We're under sunny skies. Winds staying light from the west. They'll shift slightly as we head to the afternoon, picking up a bit, but 26 degrees and sunshine is what we're looking at. Keep in mind, a little bit of humidity making that feel just a bit warmer. Similar picture in Saskatoon tonight, 15 degrees under mainly clear skies. And as we head to tomorrow morning, we're looking for mainly sunny conditions, winds still light, around 17 degrees, and hitting the afternoon, we are around 25 with those west winds around 30 kilometers an hour. Sam, it's such a great night. The sun has come out. It's warming up here. I think I'm going to go hit the river and join those boaters out there.
Sounds like a great plan. Thanks, Ethan. Rediscovering Home. That's the name of the new mural in Regina. It aims to showcase the future Better Bus Youth strives for, inclusive, accessible, and with good public transit. The mural was unveiled this morning on 11th Avenue on the side of a retirement home, and lead artist Jada Delorme walks us through the symbolism of the project.
The silhouettes of the children, youth, and those with disabilities ride the bus, allowing them to rediscover our prairie home in everyday moments. The colorful handprints uplift the silhouettes and show Saskatchewan solidarity. The prairie scenery showcases the beauty of being the land of the living skies. The vibrant Cree florals represent identity. Indigenous people use florals to identify individuals and families, incorporating them into regalia and using them in healing spaces. The sacred medicine sage is shown in abundance to signal the healing power of nature, and the reclamation of culture as younger generations reclaim knowledge. The theme of connection is continued into the landscape, with valleys representing the Fort Qu'Appelle Valley, where the historic signing of Treaty 4 occurred. The valley also represents our home, the prairies.
Beautiful. And that is it for us tonight. For News Anytime, you can always head to our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ethan and I will be back with more local news at 11, assuming he doesn't go in those boats. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.